Lineker will be joining us to help out with that World Championship draw. But his most important duty tonight is with England. England against Brazil at Wembley, where the commentators are Trevor Brooking and John Motson.
John Barnes wins his 50th cap tonight, and if we have one player who fits comfortably into the high strata of Brazilian artistry and temperament, then surely it's the England forward whose goal in the Maracanã Stadium is still talked about all over the world. Well, Barnes says he wants plenty of the ball tonight. Bobby Robson has been stressing the value of having two talented wingers. Number 8, Chris Waddle, on the right flank, is one behind Barnes with his 49th cap tonight. In contrast, number 7, David Platt, starts an international for the first time, 5 years after being given a free transfer by Manchester United. He's there partly because two of United's current players, Brian Robson and Neil Webb, are still on their way back to fitness, although Brian is here tonight and tells me he's very pleased with his progress. Well, Brazil are also without one of their top stars. Striker Romario has a broken leg, but he had the plaster off yesterday, and they're still hopeful he'll make the World Cup. Most of their South American Championship team are here, and number 9, Careca, is one of 8 performers in the starting lineup who earn their living with European clubs. Well, they've agreed that each team tonight can use up to 5 substitutes, and of the 7 men on the England bench, only one is an out-and-out striker, number 15, Steve Bull. But among the Brazilian subs, you'll probably recognise 2 names from Mexico, number 16, Alemao, the midfield player, and number 17, Muller, the lively striker who plays for Torino. And with tactics being the order of the day, here are the expected formations. England with their usual lineup, Beardsley and Lineker, the strikers. In fact, they haven't scored an international goal this season. They'll want good service from the 2 wide men, Waddle and Barnes. As for Brazil, they play a 5-man defensive system these days, with a sweeper and the 2 fullbacks, Jorghino and Branco, pushing into the attack when they can. Up front with Careca there, number 7, Bebeto, highly thought of in Brazil. Well, in case you're wondering why Brazil are not playing in their familiar yellow, it's partly because television viewers in Brazil, many of them watching in black and white, would have found the yellow and the white somewhat confusing, so we've got the Brazilians in blue shirts and white shorts playing from right to left. Here's Silas, number 10 in midfield. It's billed as a friendly, but there's something of a championship ring to this game because both nations are unbeaten in their last 14 internationals. And Silas gets forward early, finds space on the right for Bebeto, offside. Brazil, in fact, have won 10 and drawn 4 of their 14 and let in only 2 goals in the process. England have had 7 wins and 7 draws since the European Championships, and they've only conceded 4 goals in that period. That was Jorghino. Now, Steve McMahon for England in midfield. Number 5 here, Branco, the left back. 8 is Dunga from Fiorentina in Italy, midfield. Already Jorghino taking the chance to push forward from right back. 11 is Valdo. Bebeto. Silas. Nicely played too. And away by Butcher as far as Dunga. It's Beardsley. Got Trevor Brooking with me in the commentary box. What are you looking for tonight, Trevor?
Well, I think we've already seen the Brazilian style, haven't we? Good possession, good touch. Silas in midfield, heard a lot about it. I'm looking forward because he's the free man who could cause problems to England. But England, just the 2 central midfields, McMahon and Platt, really away from what most people expect to be Bobby Robson's first choice size out in Italy. So it'd be interesting to see how they go this evening as well.
Here's Bebeto. Jorginho's made a good run forward. This is Valdo. There's Jorghino. He's the right back. And you saw where he was. This is Chris Waddle, though. And that's a stinging tackle from behind by number 6, Ricardo, the captain of Brazil, on Gary Lineker. And you've got an idea there of the man-to-man marking system, because Lineker looks as though he's going to be shadowed by Ricardo Raymundo from Benfica. Here's Waddle. Valdo. Oh, that's good running on the right-hand side. And Shilton tested. Mozer got into a good striking position, and already we've seen two of Brazilian's defenders coming from a long way back. This is Mozer. Here's Lineker. Butcher. Lineker again, Barnes. Was away by Mauro Galvao, who is the sweeper for Brazil, the number 4. Silas. Barnes. Oh, well played by John Barnes. Lineker's in the centre, waiting here, and Tafferal didn't catch the cross cleanly or deal with it terribly well. Valdo. And so much movement by Brazil. This is the left-back, Branco. Their opening period here, the Brazilians, they've pushed 3 defensive players into striking positions already. Waddle. Here's Careca. Well, Tafferal is a goalkeeper they say is better than most in Brazil's recent past, but he was threatened there. Dunga. Silas. Foul. I think the referee will be quite strict on the tackling tonight. Steve McMahon was penalised there. There's been a directive from FIFA that they expect referees to be pretty stern on both tackling and deliberate handball in the World Cup, and this is really a preparatory match in that sense. The referee, in fact, is from East Germany, and so are his 2 linesmen. 10 minutes gone, it's Mauro Galvao to Mozer. And there goes Careca with Bebeto. And the collision, in fact, was between Peter Shilton and Des Walker. And both are stunned. Trevor Brooking.
I think Peter Shilton's got a nasty cut, actually. They've just clashed heads there, and seemed to think there was some blood on the eyebrow, but it was really it looked as if Peter Shilton gave a late shout, and as you see as the ball coming through there, Des Walker decides very late, and then Peter Shilton's momentum carried him through, and he's definitely stunned, and it's something just around about the eyebrow.
Yes, you got a good view of it there. Peter Shilton playing his 114th international tonight for England, and the substitute goalkeeper, should he be needed, is Chris Woods, who is back as the number 2 after a long absence. In fact, Chris hasn't played in the international side for 18 months, but the way Peter Shilton is down, it may well be he'll have to get prepared in case, Trevor.
Well, I think, you know, the way the cut, I'm sure it is quite a nasty cut, and if it was an elbow like that, it almost certainly will need stitches. Chris Woods is warming up, and really, it obviously is quite a nasty one. He's just got up on his knees for Fred Street, the physiotherapist, to have a look at it, but it could be one that he might have to come off for, I think. Yeah.
Peter Shilton being led away by Fred Street and Norman Medhurst after that collision with Des Walker. And a testing moment here for Chris Woods, so anxious to re-establish himself as number 2. Bobby Robson giving him a few words of encouragement. Now this is, Des Walker's all right, but this is an important moment for England, because we all know that Peter Shilton has been unchallenged for the number 1 position for so long, and we wouldn't want that to happen in the World Cup, would we? So the reserve goalkeeper has got to be in top condition and in good practice. But it's a shame for Peter. Crowd applauding the fact that Brazil gave the ball back to England. Here's Gary Stevens to McMahon. And there's Butcher. Offside against Peter Beardsley. Well, I wouldn't want to say anything to hurt Peter Shilton's feelings, but at some point in time we had to find out Just whether the number 2 goalkeeper was good enough, and in unexpected circumstances, that appears to be the opportunity tonight for Chris Woods to prove it. But it's certainly not consolation for Peter Shilton. And Tafferal caught that well. It was Stuart Pearce who drove the cross in, and very good it was too. Firm and accurate. Branco. And still the fullback. No foul. Now this is Stuart Pearce, and he got some real power and a bit of bend on that, and Tafferal came to gather. Header there was by Ricardo, and then it was by Waddle. Now that's onside. Lineker. Back to the European Championships for England's last defeat at the hands of the Soviet Union in Frankfurt. And we have 15 minutes to go in this first half of high-profile friendly. No score, but Gary Lineker just trying to pull away there from Mozer. Lineker, incidentally, on 29 England goals now, just wants one to equal Tom Finney and Nat Lofthouse. And if he passes them, he'll just have, I say just have, he'll have some way to go if he's going to overtake Jimmy Greaves and Bobby Charlton in the all-time scorers list. The Brazilians have tried to pinch some ground at a throw in there. So Stuart Pearce has the ball. Beardsley, McMahon, that's good build-up. This is Waddle. That's a great shot. Chris Waddle was saying to me in training the other morning that he had a slow start at Marseille. He wasn't feeling too well early in his spell there, but since November time, he's been on his game, wants to improve his goal output, and he certainly knew where the goal was there. Seems to have lost a few pounds since he went to France, and there's a feeling he might be a yard or two quicker as a result. 10 minutes left in the first half. England 0, Brazil 0, and Gary Lineker forces a corner off Mauro Galvao. It'll be taken by Beardsley, and it's an opportunity for Butcher to make his way forward here. Barnes flick. Nearly. Oh, Lineker! Gary Lineker scores the opening goal from a well-rehearsed corner. They're pleased on the bench. 36 minutes. And Lineker, here's Beardsley's corner kick. Now watch John Barnes. There's the flick on. Platt couldn't make it. Lineker could. And Lineker, who scored here against Brazil on their last visit with a diving header 3 years ago, comes in at the back to take advantage again. And that's 30 England goals for Gary Lineker. The moment when he equals Tom Finney and Nat Lofthouse in the all-time scorers list. There it goes. And now only Bobby Charlton and Jimmy Greaves have scored more times in an England shirt than him. Satisfying for Don Howe and Bobby Robson, that, because England do work hard on corner kicks, and sometimes against the South Americans the set plays can be so vital. England 1, Brazil 0. That's got the crowd going. It's also Lineker's first England goal of the season, and the first time this season that a striker has scored for England. We had 3 0-0 draws and then 2 goals from Brian Robson against Yugoslavia. So that's the end of quite a wait. Here's Barnes. Beardsley. Pearce. So Brazil, unbeaten in 14 matches, one of the World Cup favourites, find themselves a goal down, as they were indeed in that Rouse Cup match in 1987, and then they equalised pretty quickly, as I recall, through a man called Mirandinha, who we've seen since, of course, at Newcastle, but who's no longer part of this international setup. Here's Valdo. Waddle. Butcher. Well, that's an encouraging moment for England, isn't it? It's given them something to work on, and there's Lineker again, he's offside. Trevor.
Well, I'm delighted, as I say, John Barnes at the near post, the faintest of touches, and there Gary Lineker suddenly finding a bit of space, throws himself forward to try and get the power, and the goalkeeper, Tafferal, diving, thinking it was coming in probably a bit harder and trying to just spread himself. In fact, it just bounced over his spread-eagled legs. But a good goal for England, and I think a good opportunity now because Brazil have to come out.
Here's Careca. Silas. Number 5, Branco. Yes, certainly that will mean that Brazil have to try to push on and get back into the game and be more adventurous maybe than they were at the start. It's been a quiet time for Chris Woods actually since he came on for Peter Shilton. Here's Waddle. England are buzzing at the moment. Branco's checking his run. And the corner flag suffered a bit, and it's a goal kick. And we have some news on the injury to Peter Shilton, who has had 6 stitches above the eye and 2 below. So as Trevor Brooking said at the very moment of impact, it was a bad cut in that collision with Des Walker. Here's Mozer. Now, Stevens didn't close Careca down at first. Bebeto's in the middle. They've got Silas there as well. There's danger here, but good recovery by Gary Stevens. And with 5 minutes left in the first half, here's Barnes with the Wembley crowd behind England. Mozer. Walker. Lineker. Oh, nicely done. David Platt. This is Branco. Dunga. Bebeto. Branco in the attack again, and so too the other fullback, Jorghino here. That's his cross. And Walker had to do that. Bebeto was threatening right on his shoulder. Corner to Brazil. I think it's their first corner, this. Now, Ricardo and Mozer are 2 tall customers, and they're both up there in the penalty area if they get a deep one in here. Jorghino came to the near post. Lineker needs to make this. It's Dunga. And Careca's in there! And it was hurriedly cleared from Careca by Stuart Pearce. But the moment Brazil won that ball from Lineker, they threatened. It's a corner again. 3 minutes left in the first half. England defending the near post this time, having scored a goal that way at the other end. And everybody now jogging out of the England half, or certainly halfway, driven back in by Mauro Galvao. Careca. Foul. McMahon. So Brazil pushing for the equaliser in the last few minutes of the first half. And you wouldn't back against them from a free kick. My goodness me, must be, what, 40 yards here? This looks like a real special. It's Branco that's lining it up. Listen to the crowd. Goodness me, and Woods has only pushed it out, and he grabbed it brilliantly on the 6-yard line. Well, it was well worth it, wasn't it? They fancy their chances from any range. This was driven by Branco. Woods scrambled down, got his hand to it, and pounced on the rebound. But it was a close thing. It swerved too, didn't it? That's a good save, I think, and a good recovery anyway.
Credit to Terry Butcher as well there. A lot of defenders would have stood and watched, and then once it popped out, but he was there covering the forward, put him off and helped knock it back to Chris Woods.
Moment of real excitement there. You could sense the Wembley crowd knew there's something special on when they got the free kick, and Branco took a kind of Devon Malcolm run up to the ball and showed us again that Brazil have got their own version of set pieces, and here he is again. With a minute left in the first half. Well, this is at least as far again. Into the midriff this time. This is Valdo. It was Stevens who blocked it. That's Careca, brilliant! Oh, and I think it was Pearce who got it round. Number 3. Great skill by Careca, but again it came from a Branco free kick, and this is Brazil meaning business now at the close of the first half. And Stuart Pearce, in making that last-ditch clearance, looks as though he may need some attention. That was Careca who turned the ball in. Good touch play here. That was Valdo first, then it was Careca, and Pearce got there. Corner. Oh, and hooked out! First of all by Platt, and then by Beardsley, and a relieved England at half-time, holding on to their 1-0 lead after a 5-minute spell of vintage Brazil, threatened to produce the equaliser. But Gary Lineker and Bobby Robson will go off happy enough to see England leading by that goal in the 36th minute. But plenty to enjoy in that first half. Lineker made his contribution, and rather belatedly, Brazil made theirs. So a substitute for Brazil at the start of the second half. Alemao has come on in midfield, wearing number 16 in place of Silas, number 10. The overall record between the two nations in 14 previous meetings is 7 wins for Brazil, 5 draws and 2 for England. But tonight, it's England who lead at the beginning of the second half. Good play by Dunga. And Brazil will be hoping to start here the way they finished the first half. Alemao with his socks rolled down immediately. Here's Valdo. Now, Mauro Galvao. Ricardo. McMahon nicely on the chest. Platt. tackle from behind by Mozer on Beardsley. Nimble piece of play that by Beardsley. He's found Lineker. McMahon's in a good position just inside him. There he is. And Platt's waiting in the centre. It's Lineker again, and Platt still waiting. And Gary Stevens has come up on the far side to retrieve that. He's got Waddle in support. And Gary Stevens took a rather unusual route there and eventually lost the ball. Careca, now Bebeto to his left, and offside, luckily for England. Oh, Woods did well, actually, he wasn't to know that. Woods reacted ever so well, Bebeto was through, it was offside. Linesman flag, the Brazilians don't agree, and it'll be quite, I don't know about that. It just seemed to me, Trevor, as though he might have been on.
It was very marginal, that's for sure. In fact, England contributed to it themselves. They got caught in possession, didn't they? And suddenly were a man short at the back, and Careca just hesitated slightly, otherwise he would definitely have been onside. And in the end, it was one of those marginal decisions which, if you're a defender for England, you were very relieved to hear the whistle.
Branco, three to his right, Valdo. Brazil looking dangerous now. Dunga, Valdo, foul by Waddle. Now that really is dangerous territory in which to give away a free kick, because after what Branco did from 40 yards, you wouldn't rule him out from what, just over 20, would you? He's placing the ball now. Woods is hopping up and down, and you can understand why. He's already seen an indication of what they can do from this sort of distance. Just look at the run-up again. Oh, it fizzed across the goal, and it was so fast, Careca couldn't get on the end of it. Branco obviously enjoys all this. It's a speciality. But that was going nowhere near the goal, but Careca, if he could have just touched it, could have diverted it in that direction.
He's puffing a bit. I reckon he gets tired by the time he reaches the ball, and he hasn't got the energy to hit it quite now. That's his third one. That's asking a lot now, isn't it?
Offside. Well, I think Branco could become one of the stars of the World Cup. He's charging on again from left back, wins himself a free kick this time. It's Waddle again. And you have the feeling that if they keep on getting these, they'll get some joy off one of them. Alemao standing there as well this time. Well, here we go again. It's like a one-man show at the moment, isn't it? Well, Woods just stood there and seemed very calm. I just wonder how near that was to being flicked with that by the head of one of the other Brazilians. Possibly Careca was in the line of fire. Just look at the blue shirt that moves. Wasn't far away, was he? Substitution for Brazil. Off goes number 7, Bebeto, and on comes a man whose full name I'm not going to give you because it's going to take too long, and I'm not sure I can pronounce it anyway, but this chap was nicknamed Muller by his parents when he was born because of an admiration for the West German Gerd Muller. When he was a boy, they nicknamed him Muller, and that's how we know him now, number 17. Pearce. Oh, Platt. Good effort by David Platt. Was he blocked? The crowd thought so. No players appealed, really. And Jorghino managed to get in. So it's number 17, Muller from Torino, who played in Mexico. You'll remember him from the World Cup. He's come on as a straight replacement for Bebeto. Jorghino. Mauro Galvao. Actually, it's an interesting substitution, that, because, of course, Romario is away, injured, having broken his leg, and they were hoping Bebeto, offside, would be the answer up along side Careca. But obviously it hasn't worked out that way tonight for the Brazilians, and so they've gone back to Muller, Trevor.
He's been a little bit lightweight, hasn't he, Bebeto? Muller likes to come in from this right-hand side, and, you know, they've pushed up also Valdo to try and make a third man up front, because, to be fair, I mean, it's a good test for England, because a bit like it will be in the summer, they're being sort of pressed back defensively on occasions, and they're going to have to try and break, as they will in Italy at the moment. But the defence, I must admit, are doing very, very well, and Brazil really haven't created a clear-cut chance in the second half.
And we've been playing 20 minutes in this half. Here's Valdo. It is Dunga. And that was Muller. And it's Beardsley. Nice ball back to Waddle. But Waddle couldn't get away from Alemao. Valdo. Muller. Careca. We did that well, and there could be a break on here, but... oh, and it's Muller! And the substitute goes round Woods. And was that in or not? No, an amazing clearance. They're surrounding the referee, saying it was in. I think it was Stuart Pearce who got it out. And the referee is holding up a card, I think. Somebody's pushed him. And the protests are fast and furious and fierce. And the Brazilians say the ball was in. We're almost into a 1966 with Jeff Hurst here. He's going to come and have to see the linesman. The linesman, Herr Habermann on this side, says no. And there's one of the real points of debate of this international. Ricardo, the captain, is still protesting. And Muller, the substitute, thought he had the ball over the line, and I think it was Pearce. I'll have to confirm that for you because I'm not sure, who got the ball out with Woods beaten. And look at the Brazilians up there on the bench. They're sure it was in. Now, was it? It's Butcher's mistake slightly. There goes Muller. Here comes Woods round the goalkeeper. Well, did he handle it as well as get it out from behind the line? Trevor Brooking.
Yeah, I think that's what they were complaining about. Definitely, to me, I must admit, there was no way. It almost would have got past him. I think it had to be a right hand, a good goalkeeping save, and somehow then he managed to hook it away, and that's really what the Brazilians were complaining about. They were a little bit lucky that no one was sent off because they did manhandle the ref.
It's Alemao for Brazil, and he shoots over. The incident is piling up thick and fast. Alemao took up a ball here which was beautifully flicked off. It actually came via Steve McMahon's head, and then Alemao just got too much lift on the shot. But this is the moment they're still talking about. round Woods. This is the best angle perhaps. Oh, that's handball, isn't it? And it might even have been over the line anyway. Well, I rather think, as Trevor Brooking said, that Brazil at least should have had a penalty. It was certainly Pearce who was the player concerned. And then I thought, and this also needs to be looked at again, I thought the referee was manhandled by a Brazilian player. And if he was, they were lucky not to see the red card. Here's Alemao. Jorghino. Well, Stuart Pearce at the heart of that. Goodness me, the quotes after this match will be interesting on that one. In it goes from Dunga. Waddle, now Lineker's away down the right-hand side, and he is away. He's onside, and Gary Stevens has made a run from right back, an inspired run into the penalty area. Here's Waddle. And Platt's there. And now the game really has warmed up. Well, I suppose we start by saying good substitution by Brazil, because it was Muller's first contribution, and he found from a difficult angle, really, having gone wide of Woods, a way of cutting the ball back beautifully. And we continue to wonder, was it over the line, and was it handball? In fact, the referee gave neither. Well, all the officials are East German, and Klaus Peschel came across to ask Gunther Habermann what he thought. He shook his head. Lineker. Platt's in the middle waiting. Lineker took the ball out. Well, let's have another thought from you on that incident, Trevor, because it's going to make a few headlines, that.
Well, there's no way that the linesman could have helped out, because it was the blind side of him. It was either the referee who's going to have to make the decision or not, but he was running back, and to be fair to everyone, it was only really behind the goal that you can get the true picture that it was definitely handball. But I suppose we'll put it down to another hand of God.
Yes, good comparison. They say things go in full circle, don't they? Here's Barnes. Oh, he's away this time. And they're waiting, and so is Pearce. And Brazil are struggling a bit to get this ball clear. It's Waddle. Well, he's cleared it for them. Well, Brazil will clearly feel they've been denied an equaliser. Pearce. Good running by David Platt. Also Beardsley here, trying to find Lineker. And it's Alemao. And he's looking for Muller. Careca's making strides in the middle, and so is Valdo. It's Muller's cross, and that's cut out by Des Walker, very athletically too. Barnes. Alemao. Dunga. And this is Valdo. Branco. Valdo again. Walker. That's Mozer. This is Jorghino. Good cross. But Woods can collect that all right. Well, here we are from the other side of the stadium. See what you make of it this time. If you're watching from the Royal Box side, that's the view. Muller gets it in. Oh, that is hands, isn't it? That should have been a penalty, even if the ball wasn't over the line, which I still think it might have been. Here's Valdo. Oh, good play by the 11. Alemao. Jorghino. Danger here for England. Butcher, good clearance. Our defenders are doing a decent job back there. They really are. got to be stubborn because Brazil are forcing the pace all the time now here. Mozer. Waddle. Walker. Here's Pearce. Barnes. Lineker. Barnes again. Jorghino. Valdo. And to his... Ooh, good interception. Butcher, superb. Otherwise, Muller was in. Here's Lineker. And Platt. Well done, David Platt. But there was nobody that far across in the penalty area for England. Valdo. Muller's made a bit of a difference since he came on. He's given a bit more pace and penetration to that Brazilian attack. Jorghino. Oh, good dummy. And this is Careca. Woods did enough, just enough. He had Butcher behind him to thank. But Careca, who played the 1-2 so adroitly. Well, lots of activity in and around the England penalty area. Terrific dummy in the first place by Careca. Now he gets the return. Woods blocks him well. Could have been hands, actually, by Careca, and Butcher cleared. Aldair. Oh, John Barnes away from Mauro Galvao, but not away from Aldair. Jorghino. Aldair again. This is Branco. Bismark. Alemao. Jorghino. Well read by Platt anyway, although the ball was going out, he had everything covered there. Don't think the Brazilian coach will be terribly happy about the one incident that will be debated in the second half. His team have played well in patches, but I think he would agree that England's back four have kept a very secure block back there to stop the Brazilians from penetrating. Here's Steve McMahon. Lineker. He's still in there, Gary Lineker, and Butcher steps in now. Well, this Wembley crowd, all seated, getting on for 80,000, have paid over £1 million to watch this match. Are they going to be rewarded with an England victory over Brazil? That's Muller's header, and it was Platt. And it shouldn't go unnoticed how much good work David Platt's done in his first full 90 minutes for England. It hasn't been necessarily in the Brazilian penalty area, but he's been tireless in midfield, which is where he's supposed to be. Here's Waddle. Now Gascoigne's made a good run-up as well here. It's still Waddle. Looked to be obstructed to me by Branco, but nothing given. Alemao. And again. Butcher needs to just turn this back to Woods. So England lost their goalkeeper after 12 minutes, had to substitute him. Woods has done commendably well. And there's a real incentive here now in this last couple of minutes for England to hold on and record only our third ever victory over these illustrious opponents. You'd have to go back to 1956 for the last England victory over Brazil here at Wembley, when Colin Granger and Tommy Taylor were the goal scorers, 2 apiece, in a 4-2 win. And England missed 2 penalties as well. And those with really long memories will tell you that on that day, all those years ago, there was a dispute then too. But here's Branco. Bismark. Bit of danger here. Careca. And a flick on. Muller's there. And that, perhaps, should have been the equaliser for Lazzaroni's team. It wasn't a bad chance for Muller, and I think his reaction, Trevor, suggests he thinks he could have scored.
Got a bit of a nasty deflection there, as you see, and wrong-footed the defence, but he was just going back on it and couldn't really get over the ball, first of all, and then secondly to get the power to head down. And it probably looks easier, as you see, the deflection, he's backtracking, springing back, and then couldn't get over the ball. It looked easier, actually, than in fact it was.
Well, it came almost at the 90-minute mark, that chance, and Muller hasn't been the luckiest man around, has he? He had that first effort, which Pearce seemed to handle on or behind the line, and his header goes over in possibly one of the last Brazilian attacks. We're into time being added on for stoppages now by the East German referee, and what will be said to him at the end of the match as the Brazilians go off could be interesting. It's 1-0 to England. There's a bit of time wasting going on, but it doesn't matter. He's blown. England have beaten Brazil for only the 3rd time in the series between the two nations. The first time at Wembley for 34 years. It extends England's run to 15 games unbeaten, and it brings to an end Brazil's run of 14 unbeaten games, thanks to Gary Lineker's first half goal in the 36th minute. Bobby Robson, every reason to feel pleased with the result. But as the Brazilians go off, they're looking at the referee. In fact, down by the tunnel, there is a little bit of an incident going on. They are actually pushing a little bit at the referee down there as he goes off, and still arguing with him. Jorghino got involved, the number 2, and Colin Downey, the FA official there in the blazer, has had to stop the officials and possibly let the Brazilian players walk off the pitch before there's any more argument going on. That was quite a wise move, I think, by the FA man there. And England are still having their photographs taken. And in fact, there was a handshake at the end of all that. So there you are. That's only the 3rd England team in history to beat Brazil. 1956 here, 4-2 in the days of Stanley Matthews. 1984 in the Maracanã when John Barnes got that great goal. And 1990 here at Wembley with the first half goal from Gary Lineker.
So an encouraging win for England, and just to help the celebrations, there's a trophy to be collected as well, the Varig Cup, awarded to the Wembley winners tonight, collected for England by Terry Butcher. And at the end of it all, a very satisfied Bobby Robson.
Well, we got into a nice 1-0 lead with a lovely set play, lovely floated cross by Beardsley, beautiful touch by Barnes, which we've rehearsed and practiced, so that was lovely for the players and for I to have that success. But the last 20 minutes, we played a bit of what I call hurly-burly first division football, where we need more possession, we need more control of the ball, and let them chase us. We winning 1-0, they have to chase us. And the last 20 minutes, we're chasing them, you know, we're giving the ball away with perhaps, like we do in English football, roll it back to the keeper, everybody disappears at the halfway line, keeper kicks the long ball, and we're fighting. We're playing fighting football. We've got to, at international level, we've got to change that a little bit.
So 10 weeks from the World Cup finals, how would you sum up where we stand now?
Yeah, on the incline, progressing well, unbeaten. We've beaten them, they haven't beat us. We broke their record, they haven't broken ours, all right? 15 matches now without defeat. Set the players, I believe in long runs. There's no reason why we can't go on and keep going on, you know? And if we work hard and play well and we have this team morale and play like a club side at international level, which we're now developing, we have every chance. We've beaten Brazil tonight. We should be proud of the players.
When you get to Italy, will it be a very different Brazil? Did we see Brazil anywhere near their best tonight?
I think without training, we see Brazil with good condition. I think when we have more training, more days, work, change, training, repeat in field what we must do in the ground, in the match, I think we more developing and maybe more better.
Is it right to see Brazil as the favourites to win the World Cup in Italy?
24 national teams, they have same dream like Brazil.
Well played, England. We'll save all the further analysis of England's performance until a bit later in the programme, but the view